Yo, what's good, y'all? What's good? What's good? Let me adjust myself real quick. Let me adjust myself real quick here before I address y'all. Okay? All right. Yo, what's good, guys? I hope y'all are living nice out there. And wherever you are, and you know, I have this word that I've created now because I'm a wordsmith, right? And this word means nice. It's N-I-H-S. N-I-H-S. And if I come on here and I ask you guys, are y'all living nice? I'm really asking y'all, are y'all living natural, indigenous, holistic, and sovereign? And the reason why I say that is because it's the way we do these words, the way words are, we are actually speaking into our being, into our vessel, into our temple, into our mind, into our conscious thinking, and into our solar plexus. And I don't just mean right here, but I'm talking about the cellular body. You understand what I'm saying? So we are speaking into the cellular body, the cellular frame, when we are speaking. When we are speaking a language. And if you don't know already, I'm going to be releasing a lot of videos on my YouTube channel. Just go type in Ghadbody, G-H-A-D is the way I spell God. And the Ghadbody YouTube channel is going to be rolling out a lot of, and this is on YouTube for the free education portion. I don't mind teaching for free. I don't mind giving my intellectual property away, they say. Your intellectual property. I don't mind that at all. It's what you do, what you love, you do what you love, right? And you got to be careful when you are giving your gifts away. You got to be careful when you're giving your gifts away, especially on other people's platforms. Simply because when you're doing that on other people's platforms, you are actually giving them the power to take all of that away from you. But the fact of the matter is this. I said it yesterday on my Facebook post. I said that I am the book. I'm the natural man. So I don't fit into a model system. The system models after me. You get what I'm saying? When you look at the world that we're living in, the man-made world that we're living in, it is a world modeled after nature, the natural world. It is a world modeled after the natural world. And what we are doing as people, beings, what we are doing is we've bought into the actual assimilation, the model. But we're not actually going to the archetype. We want the prototype. You understand? And we are the archetype. Can y'all hear me? Why you the only one saying you can't hear me? Can y'all hear me? I'm getting people saying they can't hear me. Can y'all hear the words coming out of my mouth? Put something in the chat. Grand Rising. Glorious sunrise to you. Can you hear me? Brown sugar baby, can you hear me? Huh? Oh, now you can hear me because you got to shut your phone off. Don't say you can't hear me if you ain't restarting your phone. All right, so jump back into it because I've had only one person replying that they couldn't hear me. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? Let me get back to it. And next time, like, you can't hear me, that's not my problem. That's not my problem. That's yours. So anyway, you know, we got to get back into the flow. We got to get back into where we are. We got to get back into where we began to speak our own language. So I'm putting out there for you guys on my YouTube channel a new video almost, you know, weekly or every day or every other day, however I feel, teaching us how to get back to the original way. One of the things I do a lot is through my retreats is I help people healed, and my healing has been working in many ways. And I like to heal people through the knowledge, and I like to heal people through nature, and I like to heal people through nutrition, and I like to heal people through meditation. I like to heal people through the arts. And so I use those 5 laws of holistics to help people heal. And I desire for all of us to know what that actually feels like when you practice them on a weekly, daily, monthly basis. You know what I'm saying? I've governed my life around these laws now. And so these are the laws that I'm going to be using throughout everything I do. And it must fall in line with those laws. And so I want you guys to know that we are putting, a lot of things out there. You know what I'm saying? To help you gain a connection to yourself so you can heal. But today's video is not about the language that we're going to be talking about. I released the video on my YouTube channel. It's about sovereign literacy, getting back to our organic language, getting back to an organic language. And we just need to get back to a way that speaks truth in us. Okay, so since that's not the topic of today, I just wanted to throw that message out there. Today we're going to be talking about this. Okay. Today we're going to be talking about what I'm drinking. I'm drinking mango, pineapple, orange juice with some honey, some lime, and some rum. Alright, I can't get distracted. Listen to the video. It's going to be good. So, their warning signs are not visible or real. Their warning signs are not visible warning signs, and they are not real. So for those of you who are joining me on this live tonight, thank you once again. I am the chief spiritual luminary of Soul, the chief spiritual luminary of Sovereign Warriors Retreats, and I am the chief spiritual luminary Omaka. And you just need to know that going forward, we are going to be seeing me roll out the holistics, the 5 laws of holistics, the 3 guiding principles, and the nice nice legislation that I put together, and that is the natural, indigenous, holistic, and sovereign. Beloved beings, I've told you this before, that we are not a race. I'm not a race. You're not a race. We're not in the race. We're not a race. I don't belong to a color, a race of people. I don't belong to a color, race of people, because I am not a color. I am an energy. I am electric. I am consciousness. And I belong to, this is why I say their warning signs are not visible or real. I don't belong to a certain color of people. I belong to nature. So my race is the indigenous race. And if you look at the word indigenous, the word gene is in there. So my race is the indigenous, indigenous. I am an indigenous being to this planet realm, to the universal realm. I am of the cosmos. I am of the earth. I am metaphysical being made up in man. I am a natural being manifested. Manifested. I'm a natural being manifested. And so when you see me, hey, United. So when you see me, you are looking at the natural man. You are looking at the archetype. You're not looking at a prototype. I am the archetype. And the archetype is just someone. And the archetype is someone who? An archetype is the original. So I am not a prototype. I am not assimilation. And you cannot assimilate what I am. Because I'm natural. Okay? And so the signs, their signs that they throw at you, their warning signs are not real. I don't belong to a color of race of people. There's only two colors. There's only two tones. Two tones. There's carbon. If you look up in the sky right now, if it's night around you, look up in the sky. You see carbon, black, carbon. And then when you look down here, you see brown. You see copper. Okay? And so, to me, we are not in a race. Either you are carbon or you are copper. But you cannot be a carbon copy. Either you are carbon or you are copper. But you cannot be a carbon copy, right? And carbon and copper, which produces electricity, because we're electric beings. So, being a part of the indigenous race, meaning we are natural to this existence. We are natural to this existence. We are not anything other than that is not natural. If you're not carbon and you're not copper, you're not natural. So their warning signs is not visible or real. Because you cannot see me. Although you think you see me, you cannot see me. But they categorize us so that they can see us. And when we buy into the categorizations of who we are, then we've made ourselves physically real to them. We've made ourselves physically visible. But beloved, I would implore you to go watch the movie Lucy with Scarlett Johansson and Morgan Freeman. And I'll tell you about this movie. I've told you this is one of the movies I recommended you watch. And in the movie Lucy, she goes back into this energy field where she herself physically becomes obsolete. The physical vessel is not needed anymore. She becomes energy, and she becomes ingrained. She becomes ingrained in everything, in the computers, in the wind. She became ingrained in those things because she's energy. And so the physical vessel is just a sign for them to show you. And it's like, oh, look at this being, look at that being, look at them. And they put us in categories. And so this is not real, beloved. This is not real. It is an illusion. But the thing is, if you buy into this as the reality, you will be in the dense state, and you will stay stuck in the low density vibratory state. And you will always be stuck here because you acknowledge the physical realm. And because you acknowledge this physical realm, beloved, you will chase the things that are physical, and you will be thus arresting yourself to this world. So they show you the signs. They show you a home. You can get this and live a happy life, a beautiful life. They show you the nice luxury cars. They show you the nice luxury vacations. They show you the nice luxury clothing, the fashion that you can have. They show you all of the luxury stuff that they want you to buy into. But the only thing real here, beloved, is nature. The only thing real here is nature. It's the only thing real. It's the only thing real. If you are carbon or copper, you are real. Because that thus means that you have been accepted by nature, or intuitively you have been called by the universe. Now both can be true too. Both can be true. You can be both copper and carbon. You can be both copper and carbon. Both can be true. But you are going to relegate yourself to whatever is natural to you. And some people are intuitive, so intuitive that they relegate themselves to the energy work and the metaphysical work and the spiritual work. And some people like myself, who is very spiritual, but to be one with nature is to be spiritual. But some people like myself, I relegated to the natural realm, which is the realm that is here organically without the aid of man. Because man did not make me. Man did not make me. You understand? Man did not make the man that made me. Man only made destruction. And so you got to watch for their signs, because every sign they throw out is destructive. Every sign they put out there to you is destructive. So you got to be aware of the signs, because their warning signs are not real. They're not visible. They're not visible signs. Their warning signs are not visible signs. And so when they throw out warning signs, their warning signs are not visible or real. You can't see them. They're not real. But what you see is an assimilated factor of what you believe to be a real sign. Let's just name some, like a threat or fear, or the fear of losing your children to the system. You see, these are the signs they throw out there. If you do this, this will happen. If you do this, this will happen. If you do this, you will face this. But beloved, if we go back to a natural, indigenous, holistic, and sovereign mindset, if we go back to a nice way, I call it the nice way, NIHS. If we get to the nice way, we get back to a natural mindset. If we get back to the nice way, we get back to believing that we are indigenous to this planet, that everything on this planet belongs to us, indigenous beings. And we are indigenous, not indigenous to a land, we are indigenous to the planet. This is ours. Everywhere is ours. We are indigenous to it all of it, no matter where I go. We own every part of it. And some parts of it, this is our playground. We came here to play. So some days I may want to go slide down the ski slopes in Aspen. Some days I may want to go swing off a vine in the jungle in the beautiful blue waters. Some day, it's our playground. This is our playground. And we have to move like it's our playground. We have to move like it's our world. Now, if you move like it's your world, you will be able to go anywhere and be untouched when you go. You will be able to go anywhere and you will be untouched. But some of you are scared to move because they give you signs and they tell you this and they make it visible for you. And you believe in that visible, physical part. It's not real. It's not real. The physical part is not real. The physical part is only a manifestation of what is real. I'm going to say that again. The physical part is only a manifestation of what is real. KRS said it best. He said they tell you about, the third and fourth dimensions, up, down, left, right, front, back. But they never tell you about in and out. That's a dimension too. That's a dimension as well. In and out. But they make you see the physical. They make you see the up, down, left, right, front, back, side to side. They make you see the physical sign. But the invisible sign that they're not showing you is the in and out sign. I am only a manifestation, an incarnate being of the reality that is, which is I'm an infinite being. I'm an infinite. Listen to the word infinite. I am in. Finite. Now we know the word finite to be complete. Final. I am the end all to the be all. I am the end all. There is no ending to me. I am infinite. I'm finite. I am the final. It's me. I am the finite piece. I am the finite being. I am finite. I'm the final. What you're looking at is the complete finality of God. You're looking at the complete finality. You're not looking at a carbon copy. You're looking at the carbon copper. Okay? You're looking at carbon copper. That's it. And so they show you signs. And these signs that they're showing you are not the real signs. They show you signs of race. You belong over here. You belong over here. They show you signs of money and prestige. They show you signs of different lifestyles. You can have this if you so work for it. You can have that if you go work for it. That's not a real sign. That's not a real sign. Those warning signs are not real signs. And that's why I call them warning signs. Because you need to be aware of them. Warning. Their signs are not real. Warning. Their signs are fake. Warning. Open your eyes and realize that you are the infinite, infinite. You are the final call. You are the final piece. You are the finality of the complete structure of who you are. You are there is no more. There is no more. This is why this whole COVID thing, and I'm not going to talk about that too much. This is in beyond COVID. Any type of vaccine, any vaccine. This is why these things are beyond me. Beyond me. Because these are signs that they're showing you. And the fact of the matter is, beloved, and I speak from my heart when I say this, and I really mean it, that anytime you're putting anything inside of your body besides this rum, let me stop playing. But I'm being serious. I do my cleansing. I cleanse. But anytime they tell you that you need this or that to continue to be here, you have been sold a bag of goods. You've been sold a bag of goods, beloved. Because their signs that they show you are not real. You are the archetype, not the prototype. You are the archetype. You are not the prototype. And because you think that you are, because you don't know you're the archetype, you believe you're the prototype. They tell you, you need this, you need that, because what they did was they took nature, they made a copy of it, an assimilation of it. They made a copy of it. And because the copy is not natural, it's prone to dis-ease. It's prone to break down. It's prone to destroy itself because it's not natural. It's prone to destruction. It's prone to tear apart. It's prone to all of these things that you could throw out there about it. And so when they take nature and give an assimilation of it, and they make a copy of it, then it has faults to it. Because nature also, as I said, as I am infinite, nature is infinite. And you don't need to, what that means is inside of nature, internally is finite. It's complete. You don't need to do nothing else to it to make it be what it is, to make it do what it do. It has an internal knowing, an internal knowledge. It has an internal wisdom that it comes with, that knows already how to function and operate. And we don't, and what we do is, what man does is, what the non-natural beings do, I like to call them cancer cells. What the cancer cells do is they end up infecting what's natural because one or two reasons. It's either one or two reasons. Either one, you cannot survive in the natural world. You naturally cannot survive in the world the way it is. So you got to create a bubble for yourself. You understand? You got to create a bubble so that you can survive in it, so you can sustain life in it for yourself. And so either you are doing it that way, where you're creating a bubble for yourself because you cannot survive, or number two, you're just what I call evil. You're evil. And if you don't know what evil is, I'm doing a part 2 on my sovereign literacy. I'm doing a part 2 on my sovereign literacy on my YouTube channel. I just loaded up the first video to sovereign literacy. I'm going to be doing sovereign literacy on my YouTube channel all day, every day, teaching you the 5 laws of holistic, showing you how to do it, teaching you about the 3 guiding principles and your instinct, your intuition, your instinct, your intuition, and your intellect. And I'm going to be teaching you about the nice, I call it the Act Nice. It is the NIHS, the natural, indigenous, holistic, and sovereign way that we are to return to. And so, beloved, on my YouTube channel, it's best you go there and subscribe, because it's going to be releasing, I'm going to be releasing a flood of work there. And my point is this, going back to my statement, either the reason why you assimilate nature is because either one, you cannot survive in nature naturally as it is, number one, or number two, hold on, I got comments. I got comments. Shalom. Exactly what they're doing in creating a natural environment. Right. Either you naturally cannot survive in it, number one, or number two, you are just evil. Your genetic makeup is evil. And I say evil because I need you to understand the word evil also is the word vile. Vile. And so when you got the word evil, you look at the word vile. And when you see vile, it's almost as if you're looking at a sick being, a being who is naturally sick. And only someone who cannot survive in a natural world creates a toxic environment, a too sick environment. They're too sick. So because they're evil, because they're sick, they make a toxic or a too sick environment for the rest of humanity. And so therefore, if you go back to what I'm doing for you guys is the natural, indigenous, holistic, sovereign way. If you go back to the nice way, if you go back to the nice way that I'm going to be teaching on my channel, then I can guarantee you, you will look at nature and you will see it as your home, your protection, and you will not allow for them to tell you you need to stick this in your arm or stick this and swallow this pill, because nature has the answer. Again, I'm going to say it again. Nature is also infinite. That means internally it's finite. Internally it is finite. It's complete. The work is finished. You don't need to add or take away from it. It is finished. So anything that they're doing is destroying it, destructing it, getting rid of it, because they can't survive. And I call them the cancer cells because that's what it is. Only cancer cells make a host sick. Only cancer cells are sick people. And so we are not the cancer cell. You either, I'm going to say it like this. You are either carbon, copper, or cancer. You're either carbon, copper, or cancer. Which one? You only belong to, there's 3 races out there. I'm going to call them 3 races now. I said 2 races. There's only 3 races. There's only 3. There's only 1 race. My bad. There's only 1 nationality, 1 race. Our nationality is natural. That's our nationality. We don't belong to no ethnic group. The ethnic group we belong to is nature. We're natural. That's our ethnicity. You're going to learn all of this in sovereign literacy. You're going to learn all of this in sovereign literacy. You're going to learn what your ethnicity is. Your ethnicity, your nationality is natural. Your race is indigenous. Okay? And so therefore we're not a color. And so there's only 1 race. That's the indigenous race, made up of carbon and copper people. And now I'm seeing that there's actually 1 race and there's only 1 race, indigenous, and the second one is just basically a prototype, or it's a prototype, or I wouldn't even call it a prototype. I would call it what's the word? What's the word? A de facto. Is it de facto I'm looking for, or is it a defect? There's only 1 race and 1 defect race. The defected race is cancer. So you got either carbon or copper, or you cancer. You understand? And so what we need to do is we need to heal. And this is what I learned as a healer. I learned something so great. I learned that this revelation came to me. I learned that my people, the carbon and copper people, we are the healers. The carbon and copper people are the healers. And oh my God, this is good. We are the healers. We are the healers. That's why we got evil or vile people. That's why we got vile people trying to make the natural healers of the planet sick. The carbon and copper people are healers. Natural born healers. Why do I say that? Because your nationality is what? Your nationality is natural, which is related to nature. And because you are nature, you are the healer. That's why, and you go see the studies that they did on African people, black people, all over African people. I'm not using the word black no more. I'm not using the word black. We're not black. I understand, we're not black. We carbon and we copper. That's it. So African people were being experimented on so much for our stem cells. You know what I'm saying? For our plasma, for the plasma in our blood, for our DNA, our organs. You understand? So there is a market, literal market out there, on carbon and copper lives. There's a market out there for the life of carbon and copper people. Because we are, if you remember the movie Avatar, perfect movie to talk about, right? And the actual movie Avatar was, I got to go on my brother's page and see it. But the movie Avatar was actually modeled after a real tribe in Africa. I forget the name of the tribe, but I remember my brother shared this. This is a brother who I commune with a lot. And he shared this, and I seen it on his page. And we talk a lot, me and his brothers. So when anybody shares something like that, especially somebody like him who I talk to, frequently, I do my research, and I go back and say, okay, cool, this is it. And then, so what we're looking at is, when we look at Avatar, the movie, what did they do in Avatar? When they couldn't be the natural, when they had to do what? When they couldn't be the indigenous people. When you look at the indigenous people, what did they look like? They looked like they were the night sky. They looked like the night sky. They looked like blue full of stars. Because that's what we are. We are the universe. We are, when you look up and you see in those stars, that's what you are. And so they modeled in the movie Avatar real indigenous people. That's us. They modeled that movie after real indigenous people. And when you look at their physical beings, their bodies, they look like space. They look like the universe that you look up to in the sky. It looked like that. Looked like their body had stars all over it. You know what I'm saying? They were indigo. Right? Star seeds. They come from that. We come from that. Now, what I'm here to tell you is this. When they wanted to enter into that natural world, look at the movie again. I like to read between the lines of things. What did that movie tell you? They could not live in that world. They could not live and survive in that natural world. They had to get a body. They had to get into the physical body, or they had to put themselves in a suit-like body to even live in that world. They couldn't live in that world. You understand? So, look at what they do in the movie Avatar. They pillage, they plunder, and they come in and tear everything down. These are what we call cancers. Cancer cells. Now, back to the topic of this video titled, "Their warning signs are not real or visible." The movie Avatar showed us that who the natural beings are that come from the cosmos, that come into and is one with the planet. And when you look at the movie, everything around them communicated. And this is what I'm telling you, beloved. This is why I tell you that we, carbon and copper people, are the natural healers. This is why I'm telling you that. Because everything that they did, they went to nature and communicated with nature on. They communicated with nature with. And they also communicated with nature on those animals that they rode. But the nature communicated back to them. And when they went to pray to Iwa, when they went to Iwa to pray, when they went to Spirit to go and pray, and when they sat in that circle and they all did a mantra, a chant, and they did a sitting meditation to speak to Mama, when they called out on Mama for help, when they called out on Mama to help bring the spirit, the white lady who was transitioning from one spirit to the next, they wanted her to transition into the spirit world. They called on the spirit for that. So they communicated with nature, but as they communicate with nature, they also allow nature to communicate back to them. Beloved, what I'm telling you is this, is that your healing, these signs they throw out, the warning signs they throw out. Oh, if you go out over here, you know what I'm saying? They tell you on the news that going over here, you can get sick. Going over here, you can catch this. Going over here. And they say this all the time about Africa. You go to Africa, you're going to You got it everywhere you go in the world. You don't need a shot for it, but when you go to Africa, you got to get a shot. When you got to go to Africa, you got to get some type of vaccine to go to Africa. What kind of stuff is that? So I could be a carrier and take something over to Africa? Is that what you want me to do? You want me to be a carrier of something that you give me so I can take it over? So there's signs. They tell you, oh, you got to get this vaccine. You got to get that vaccine. You got to get that vaccine. And y'all think that this is too far-fetched and the enemy don't work like that. And I'm not here to preach about enemies and politics and stuff like that. I'm really here to help you heal and understand that I came to a revelation about who the natural healers are. I am not a healer alone. I am a healer amongst other carbon and copper people who are healers. And I say you either carbon or copper or you cancer. Which one? And I am not here to look at my carbon and copper people any longer and believe that they are not healers either. And I've never really had that mindset. But I now see that with the unity in mind, if we come together with unity in mind, we are the healers. We are the healers. We are the healers. What was that lady name? That black lady name that they I think y'all named her in here. What was that lady name? The black lady name that they took oh my gosh, I'm gonna lose her name. It was the black lady name who they they got all of their healing from this black lady a long time ago. Shoot. And they basically was like using her to get like all of their, somebody give me the lady name, black lady. This was a black lady. And they were using her to get like all of their medical, they were drawing from this black lady like all of their medical science for healing. Yes, Henrietta. There you go. Thank you. Thank you. Henrietta Lack. This lady was like, and the thing is this, we are all Henrietta Lacks. We are the Henrietta Lacks because we come from Henrietta. We come from that, but more importantly, Henrietta Lack comes from the source. Henrietta Lack comes from the source of where it comes from. You know when they say, why eat animals when you can just go straight to the source? Right. Why take a pill when you can go straight to the source? Why get a shot when you can go straight to the source? The same thing could be said. So their warning signs are not real. When I can go straight to the source, they go straight to the source. They go right to us. They know where to get it from. But they get it from nature as well. But the thing is, they use us as guinea pigs to see how it, or they use us as lab rats to see how it works. They see us as lab rats to see how it comes through us. And what they end up finding out is when it comes through us, it does us no harm. And so they base their science. What they base their science off of is not when it does us no harm. They need to put it in some body, They need to put it in someone so that they can see the effect of it when it affects someone different. They need to, so when you read their studies and you read their science and they say 70% people are this, 70% people are that, 50% people are this. When you read those statistical studies, those are not studies from carbon and copper people. Those are not studies fixed in that come from carbon and copper people. Those are not studies that they get from us. Those are studies that those numbers come from them. Those numbers come from them. When they do those numbers, when they put those studies together, they're getting those numbers from themselves. You understand? Those numbers come from them. And so we are And so, yes, she is proof that they use our bodies to heal. And so we are using their signs, their studies. This is what I mean by their signs. When they shout something, when they yell something, that's a sign to be like, no, I'm going the other way. When they throw a sign out there, when they say, don't do this, don't do that, do the opposite. You understand? Do the opposite. And I'm talking about guided by the 3 guiding principles. Guided by your intellect, your instinct, and your intuition. Therefore, you will not touch an electrical fence just because a white man or somebody put up a sign that says, this is an electrical fence. Do not touch. You're not going to be like, oh, a white man put that sign up, let me go touch it. No. Use your intellect. Use your instinct. Use your intuition. These are the guiding principles that guide us. And this is what will guide you. When you hear something that comes from these people, use your 3 guiding principles. Tap into them. And I'm going to help us because I realized, wait a minute. My revelation was this. I don't have to heal nobody. I'm a leader. I don't have to heal. And I love to heal. I love the work. I love the healing work. I love the healing work. Because I understand it on a personal level. I'm talking about literally journeyed around the globe to get healed on my own. And know exactly what it takes to eat, what it takes to think. The laws of holistics, the 5 laws I preach to my last breath is what healed me. I healed through meditation. I remember being in this house. This is my kids' house. Their mom works at night, so I usually come over here to watch them so they can go to school. But I'm pulling them out of school a couple more months, trust me. I'm just waiting some things. It's another story. I keep hitting my nose, y'all, because I got hairs that hang out my nose and it rub against my nose. And I keep thinking it's nose itching, but it's just the hair in my nose. I need to get some tweezers, right? And so I remember meditation, sitting on this couch when I had my first encounter with meditation years ago. I remember being quiet, being silent for a year on my Facebook pages. And I didn't say nothing until I came back to Facebook after a year and I started to speak my truth. This is what fitness is. Exercising your truth and lifting your voice. Not lifting weights and exercising your body, but exercising your truth and lifting your voice. And that's what I did. I remember being vegan that same year. Being vegan for a whole year. Healed my body, healed my consciousness, healed my mind. Slept outside in a tent for 45 days in this backyard for 45 days. And I remember doing that. I put the practice in. I remember eating vegan. While I was eating vegan nutrition, I was grounding nature for 45 days in my tent. I was grounding. I remember days I would get up from sleeping out in my tent and I would come in the house to lay down. It would be sunrise. I would get up, after sunrise and I would come in here and I would just relax, lay down, make me something to eat and just kind of like just sit down. And I remember my body vibrating, convulsing. I remember feeling like vibrations going through my body. It was the craziest feeling. That's why I love grounding. I love that feeling I get from grounding. I love when I sleep in a tent outdoors on the ground because it reverberates throughout your whole body. You literally feel it. And I remember having that feeling. Every day I woke up from sleeping out in the tent. My body felt inside. It was like shaking. Like I was going through that every day. And I loved that feeling. It felt so good. It felt so good. It was just a great feeling to have. And I remember using my arts, poetry, spoken word is what I do. I do spoken word. I remember using the arts to put myself back out there on the scene because I had lost all my client base. I was sponsored by every church in St. Pete. to speak to the youth, to speak to youth groups, to speak at universities, to speak at high schools, to speak to athletic departments, football, basketball teams, to speak to kids everywhere, to speak at camps. I was sponsored by the church, and when I started to come out and exercise my truth and lift my voice, I remember that all of the churches that was following me online saw my rhetoric, and they was like, immediately. I'm talking about like they didn't wait. It was immediate cutoff. It was like cancel culture. They canceled my butt. And I lost all my income. And I remember relying on my natural born talent, my natural gift, spoken word. I remember relying on just that. And that's what got my foot back in the door to speak again, to lead people again, and getting money in my pocket again, and building now myself up to a business. I got a business now, a company, I call it. I got a company now. So I preach the 5 laws of holistics because I know what they did for me. And I believe if you do them same things, they're going to work. And I know they will work. Why? Because I led people in them on my retreats. And people seen just some snippets of what the holistics that I lived came through me. What they've gotten. I've seen people that came to my retreats go back to their lives and do retreats. Not only do retreats, but also be successful at business. Like I seen some young, somebody go on and do business and became very good and successful at it. Now, I don't want to attribute that to me, but I will attribute that to right after the retreat that happened. I'm just letting you know. I remember doing all of this work. So when they tell me the signs, when they show me the signs, I'll be like, I look the other way. Because I know who I am naturally. I know who I am naturally. I know who I am. And so I had a revelation. I said, wait a minute. I'm a natural, indigenous, holistic, and sovereign being to this planet. And so are my carbon and copper people. They're natural and indigenous and holistic. And it made me look at us in a unified way. It made me look at us like the people, the movie Avatar. It made me look at us like the movie Avatar. Collectively, they were able to come together, speak to Iwa or nature or Mama Earth or spirit. Collectively, they were able to speak and get answers and heal. And individually, they all had ranking positions. They all had powerful ranking positions. The mother, the father, Sute and Nateri, most of them have powerful positions. And so, what I'm saying is we are that. We are powerful beings on this planet. We are powerful on the planet. We are powerful here. We are those hearing yet lacks. We are the healers. We are the ones who produce the healing. We are the ones who produce the healing. This is why. I'm going to go here for a second. Let's just go here for a second. Why do you think why do you think our culture is the most appropriated culture? Because it feels good. That's why. It feels good. And so they appropriate our culture not simply for money, but because it feels good to the soul. It feels good. But you can see they misappropriate it all the time, and we don't need to go that road yet. So their warning signs are not the real signs, are not visible. They're not real. They show you this. The real sign is you. Look at you. Look at you. Go look in the mirror. And I want you to see a holistic. When I say holistic, I mean all around. Mind, spirit, body. I want you to look all around within you. I want you to give a holistic look at yourself. And I want you to see a holistic, natural, indigenous, and sovereign but more so emphasizing on the word natural and indigenous. I want you to look at yourself in the mirror and see a natural indigenous being. And understand, when you are looking at nature, when you look at yourself in the mirror, you're looking at nature. When you're looking at nature, you're looking at yourself. And when you're looking at yourself, you're looking at where the answers lie for all healing. That's why I know we're the healers. We're the healers of this planet. Carbon and copper people are the healers of this planet. You don't have to practice it for a business. You don't have to practice it for your life. You are naturally born a healer. You're a natural born healer because you hold the properties. You hold the properties of healing the planet. You hold the properties of healing the planet. You hold the wisdom. You hold the knowledge. You hold the properties within you of healing this world. You hold the properties. You hold it. Go back and watch the movie. Yes, Nandra. Go back and watch the movie. Go back and watch the movie. Okay? Go back and watch the movie Avatar. Right? So, beloved, give me 5 more minutes and I'm going to get out of here. I could keep going, but I think my point has been made. My point has been made. Give me 5 more minutes and I'm gone. My point has been made. I've given you the greatest solution ever. Stop looking at their signs. Their signs don't hold weight. The signs don't hold weight because, number one, it's a prototype of the archetype. You being the archetype. Their signs don't hold weight because it's an assimilation of nature. And an assimilation has flaws and faults in it. Because when you're looking at nature, it's infinite. It's internally finite. It's complete. It doesn't need any extra layers on it. It doesn't need any extra hands taken away from it. It is natural. It is holistic. It is already complete and great in the way. Isn't the scripture, what the scripture in their Bible? And I won't say the Bible anymore. I'm going to say their Bible. The scripture in their Bible, because my Bible is nature. Okay? The scripture in their Bible, don't it say when God looked over the firmament, that he said what? After 7 days, God rested, but on the 6th day, God looked at everything that he created and said, it is good. That means there's no more hands that need to touch it. There's no more hands that need to touch it. There's no one needs to add to it or take away from it. You ever see a forest fire destroy the forest? But do you know what a forest fire is actually doing? This is why I love nature. Because fire is a natural element. It's a natural element. You know why I love nature? It's so beautiful. So beautiful. I'm probably going to take my butt to the beach tomorrow night. Just to enjoy being under the moon and the stars. To take a glance and to look up at everything that is great. But here's why nature is so beautiful. Because even in forest fires, we think that, oh my God, the forest has been destroyed. And it's going to take a long time for these trees and things that took years to grow. We be feeling sorry for nature when something natural happens. Like, I'm not saying all forest fires are natural, but I'm saying like when there's a forest fire and it happened naturally and it destroys all of nature, it takes away all of nature. When we see that, you know what a fire is actually doing? It's actually